Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. We do have a tornado warning that has actually just been issued in Tennessee that I wanted to kind of break down for you. This is currently in southeast sections of Tennessee. Bit of a zoomed out look here, pretty far south, a couple hours south there of Nashville. But this is a brand new tornado warning embedded with a ton of rain around it. So it is a very high moisture environment here that we're in southern sections of Tennessee. This storm has been rotating for the last several minutes. There is some rotation just to the south of Lynchburg, Tennessee. The storm is right now moving off to the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour or so right now, and this storm will continue to track out that direction. There is some rotation here located a couple miles right now southwest of Lynchburg. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're getting to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, that is where our rotation is currently located. If we go back just a couple scans, it actually was a little bit more defined a moment ago. We can go back here. This is a look at it about 6:18, so about 10 minutes ago or so. Again, this had a lot more rotation then. This is 6:23, and eventually, again, the rotation's been kind of consistent here in terms of how strong it is. The warning got issued right around 6:30, so only a few minutes ago, and now this is what it looks like. So the rotation has kind of been there for a few minutes there. It's starting to weaken again, but it could recycle as the storm continues to move off to the east-northeast. There is a favorable amount of shear today, and obviously this evening there is still a lot of shear out there. Granted, there is a tornado watch until 8 o'clock tonight for those in Tennessee all the way back through Alabama, and as well as even into southeastern Mississippi, that we still have a tornado watch until 8 o'clock. So the conditions are still ripe for the possibility for maybe an isolated tornado or two over the next couple of hours before the system really starts to weaken out. But one key note to note with this storm, if you're anywhere near Eastville Springs or Lynchburg, currently the rotation is embedded in all of this rain. So if there's a tornado, it will be rain wrapped, so don't try to look outside for it unless you're a professional storm chaser, because obviously it would be pretty dangerous since this is likely, if there is to be a tornado, it would be rain wrapped in this instance. A couple reports, by the way, from earlier. I have not been live today, just kind of an FYI, but we had some quarter-sized hail a little while ago near Shelbyville. We also had a few trees down and power lines down in Shelbyville as well, so some strong storms have gone through that area. We still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings back up here closer to Crossville and Cookville for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That cluster of storms is beginning to weaken, so a lot of this activity will continue to weaken over the next few hours overall, but we are still going to be watching for that possibility for maybe a tornado or two over the next couple of hours, because the severe weather's not done yet. It will be probably closer to about 8 to 9 o'clock tonight Central Time, so that's some good news there. All right, let's go back over to the velocities and see what's happening with this storm as of 6:38. Tornado warning has just been condensed a little bit. Lynchburg is still included in Eastville Springs. Rotation again is broadened a little bit in the last few minutes, so we'll keep a close eye on this as it continues to move off to the east and east-northeast. Let me just do this real quick. How's everybody doing, by the way? Welcome on in. Obviously, for those that are wondering why I've not been live today, I already kind of mentioned it in last night's live stream, but today's my busy day, so Thursdays throughout the rest of this semester all the way through May will be very busy for me. I'll hardly ever be live on Thursdays unless it's like a late night thread. So like right now, this is kind of more late night, but hope everybody's doing well. We'll be live here for probably a good 30 to 45 minutes with any new tornado warnings that upcome, because again, we have a tornado watch until 8 o'clock. Overall, this event has not been as bad as what was forecasted, which is good news. And I kind of mentioned it last night. I didn't think the tornado threat for those in the Mississippi Valley would be that bad overnight last night, and it clearly wasn't. So there's some good news there. This tornado warning, by the way, does include Franklin and Moore County, Tennessee, and that goes again until 7 o'clock Central Time. So Lynchburg, Eastville Springs, Tullahoma is not included in this tornado warning right now, and this is again the velocity. So we are still dealing with some broad rotation just south of Lynchburg. This will continue to move off to the north and east over the next 10 to 15 minutes before it ends up maybe making an impact closer to Tullahoma, which this area is seeing a ton of rain today. And again, this is probably, if there is to be a tornado, it would be rain wrapped. So there's that for right now. All right, let's see what we got going here. So let's go back to the velocities. Cam, no, I actually, tonight I was thinking about going live. It just depended if there was anything out there, and there was a tornado warning, so I might as well go live. And I wasn't originally going to go live tonight, but since there's still a little bit of activity out there this evening, we'll be live here for a little bit. Hey Chuck, how's it going? How you doing, Maria? Thanks, DL, appreciate it. How's Cincy doing? Actually, I haven't really looked that far to the north today. Let's go up closer to Cincinnati. This is going to the bit more of a low depth radar. Not much actually, and it's quite incredible. Look at the system. We have the snowstorm ongoing back up in Illinois and into the Midwest. Michigan's also starting to see some snow. Anybody in Chicago or Illinois? How much snow have you guys seen so far? 6 inches closer to Orangeville. So we've seen some pretty decent snow up there. That's been ongoing here throughout the afternoon, and it'll continue throughout tonight. There will actually be a winter storm in far northern New England going into tomorrow. So I might talk about that a little bit later in this live stream, but we'll see what happens. How's it going, guy? How you doing? Super Gamer, Devin, how's it all going? All right. Virginia will probably just see rain. I wouldn't expect anything other than that. Severe weather, by the way, for those that are wondering where the risk is tonight, this is for the rest of this evening. The enhanced risk of severe weather actually still still does include areas in Alabama, Mississippi, and obviously with the next update from the Storm Prediction Center, which will come out within the next 20 minutes, this region here will be shifting further to the east, obviously, but the marginal threat still goes all the way through areas in eastern Tennessee and even into Georgia. So we still could see some severe weather here. It's not out of the question over the next hour or two. I know a lot of the activity has been winding down over the last couple of hours, but we are still seeing some activity, including obviously this bit of a surprise tornado warning, which now the rotation is weakening a bit on this one, which is good news, but we did have a little bit more activity obviously earlier today. I don't know how many tornadoes we've seen so far today. I have seen a few photos on Twitter of tornado damage, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see how many reports there have been today. So I'm not entirely sure how many tornadoes we've actually seen in total. I haven't been monitoring it too closely. So far, we've actually only had 3 tornado reports today, which is honestly fantastic news. It was supposed to be a bit worse than that. Last night, we had none, from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Does anybody know the exact number of potentially, reported or confirmed tornadoes? Because I've only, at least the Storm Prediction Center site just said there's been 3 today, which is good news. There was a lot. I'm pretty sure there was about 8 or 9 tornado warnings overnight last night. I woke up with a bunch of notifications on tornado warnings, so there was some between like 2 a.m. to like 9 a.m. I think it was. So there was some tornado warnings overnight, but I don't think it was too significant there. How's it going, Bugsy? Welcome back. Getting some freezing rain and sleet and snow in Michigan. Is it really freezing rain up there right now? I didn't think they were supposed to really see any freezing rain. Let me zoom back out here. Actually, yeah, there was a little bit of freezing rain there, kind of in between Kalamazoo, back through just north of Detroit, east of Saginaw. Yeah, I mean, I did see it on the computer models, and the HRR did indicate there might be a little bit of freezing rain, but I wasn't entirely positive about that. Let me take off this risk area. By the way, these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings are expiring, so if these expire, we're only gonna be down to 1 tornado warning, and that'll be about it. A couple new reports that just came in on this particular storm, which this warning and this storm is actually outside of the warning now, so it's not really relevant anymore, but quarter-sized hail was reported about 30 minutes ago in Sparta, along with a tree blown down on Monterey Highway, excuse me, near Yankeetown Church. So that's the latest there. So we'll be down to 1 tornado warning here momentarily. Tornado watch again goes until 8 o'clock tonight. Still, there is a chance for an isolated tornado or 2. If we actually go a bit further down here to the south, there was a storm back over here west of Tuscaloosa. It had a little bit of rotation when I was looking earlier. No longer seems to have much rotation, so good news there. But there's just so much rain out there. It's really making it hard for these storms to rotate, and these storms aren't discrete. I mean, even this one near Tullahoma that had some stronger rotation at one point is still battling with a ton of rain around it. No organization really whatsoever with this storm, so it is just going to struggle to really develop and maintain any intensity. This is the latest on the velocities, and again, there is some wind in here, a little wind, maybe upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour, but the rotation that was originally here is completely gone. So I would honestly say that this tornado warning will probably get lifted within the next minute or 2, but we'll see what happens. Again, this is definitely a weakening storm overall. In a few minutes, once this tornado warning gets lifted, and if there's no other tornado warnings, I am going to show you a 6-hour loop of what's happened so far today, because that would be pretty cool to see what's unfolded today. I've not looked at really anything this afternoon. I've not been around at all. This is like the first 10 minutes I've been around. Will the squall line make it to Florida? It will make it to Florida, maybe northern Florida, but it will not be a squall line, quote unquote, because a squall line is typically consisted of damaging winds of some sort. There will be some rain. few downpours. It's gonna be a very thin line of showers and maybe an isolated rumble of thunder, but it will not make it all the way through Florida. And it'll really be tomorrow when you see it, by the way. It's gonna be like mid to late afternoon tomorrow. That's when it's gonna happen, so there will not be much at all. Tornado warning has now been lifted for those in southeast or southern sections of Tennessee. All right, let's go over to the live radar, and let me take off this for now. We have no warnings ongoing, which is good news. I didn't really expect too many warnings tonight. Let's go over the 6-hour loop, though, kind of give you an idea of what we've seen here over the last 6 hours, while we do have a break in the action, which I would expect a lot of that over the next few hours. Let's go over to here and put on the thing here. We'll do that. And you can see the 6-hour loop. This is a look, though, at the 6-hour loop here across the southeast. So again, if you want to watch this here for a minute, but it's actually pretty impressive what's happened here. I mean, we're really talking about a very impressive area here where there was several tornado warnings in western and central Tennessee, and even into southeast Mississippi. We had a couple, but this has not been as bad of a day as initially forecasted, and there has been an enhanced risk of severe weather. We'll take that definitely for granted there, but honestly, I would say that this was a pretty hefty event regardless, because there has been a lot of rain, and that's obviously going to be equivalent to some flash flooding. And you can see all the greens and reds and whatnot, and this is all just indicating really just higher cloud tops with a bunch of rainfall. And we're definitely been seeing that in Kentucky, for example. There actually have been some flash flood warnings up there. Rainfall totals upwards of maybe 1-3 inches in that range have definitely occurred back up that direction. I'm not sure if I can get a specific one here. Yeah, there's been even 911 calls up there. So flooding has been a pretty big concern with this system. And when we go a little bit more wide zoom here, this is what's originating in all of it. It's that low pressure system back actually up in the Great Lakes, which is actually bringing a winter storm up there, believe it or not. And now it's just primarily showers and maybe a few storms. None of these really severe right now, which is good news. But again, we'll see what happens over the next hour or so. I'm not sure if there will be any big developments here. A lot of it has been winding down, but we'll definitely see what happens. If we go to right now, this is the current live radar. Let me turn this off and go to the radar. So this is actually like the bit more of the low def radar here, but you can see again tornado watches until 8 o'clock tonight unless otherwise canceled. We've had plenty of wind damage reports throughout Tennessee. I know that for a fact. Flooding is also ongoing back up in Lauderdale County in Alabama and back down into Louisiana. We also have some flooding there in Zachary, Louisiana. That's in East Baton Rouge. And again, a bit further up to the north, got the winter storm that's ongoing. And again, is anybody up here in the Midwest, anybody seeing some snowfall? I'm curious, because there has been some pretty hefty snowfall up this direction. We're talking upwards of like 6 inches in some areas. The more recent report in northern Illinois was 6 inches, which is definitely stacked up pretty quickly. Even near 7 inches near Des Moines as well. 8 inches almost near Interstate 80. Pretty impressive. 8 inches. Yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of snow up there. Again, this is like the widespread view here over the last 2 hours. It has been a pretty impressive system, though, to say the least. And it is packing a punch in all modes of severe weather. Snow has obviously been a big factor with this entire thing. We've seen a bunch of snow from northwest Kansas and Colorado all the way back now through the Midwest. This will move into the Northeast tomorrow. It will primarily bring rain unless you're right along the Canadian border there. You might get some snowfall right up that direction in northern New England, but yeah, it has been a very impressive system to say the least. But yeah, for right now, no tornado warnings, which is good news. Hey, thank you, DK, for becoming a 4-month VIP Chaser member. Let's get some claps in the chat for DK. I appreciate that a lot, DK. Thanks. Appreciate the support. That is a big commitment for the Max Velocity YouTube channel. 1 inch per hour falling, and you're in northern Illinois. Gotcha. Yeah, northern Illinois has been seeing a decent amount of snow, actually. We'll zoom back up there for a second. This is the current live radar near Illinois. And yeah, we're definitely seeing some pretty hefty snowfall. Most recent snowfall totals closer to Chicago. Right around maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch so far. 1.5 inches closer to areas just west of Chicago. But again, we've seen some really, I mean, this area that was supposed to see some really heavy snow is a very thin area. I mean, it's really primarily the main area that was going to see heavy snow in terms of like 4 to 8 inches was right here along the Wisconsin and Illinois border. And Orangeville's seen already 6 inches of snow, 5 inches also near Grant County, another 5 to 6 inches there, 10.5 inches over in Johnson County, Illinois. Holy moly. It's actually, I mean, the peak that we're supposed to see with this was about 11 to 12 inches. So this doesn't surprise me, but it is definitely, you know, right along the interstate there. A lot of snow for sure. 6 inches, 8.5 inches over in Marion County. 8 inches, yeah. I mean, Des Moines, right around 4 to 6 inches was that range. And even a little bit of snow flurries west of St. Louis. You know, it's kind of funny. Indiana is going to have not just severe weather, but you'll also have some snow in the northwestern side of the state this evening. So you're going to get every mode of weather pretty much imaginable. We do have a special weather statement for those near that tornado warning that we had a few minutes ago. That is East Still Springs, Winchester, and Tullahoma. Those areas kind of right now on the outskirts, but this is for 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We're going to go back over to the high-def radar real quick. I am curious to see whether we do have whether we have any sort of rotation with any of these storms here. There was a little bit closer to northwest of Tuscaloosa a little while ago, but currently very broad rotation, if any. We have a couple of little pockets of broad rotation. Nothing too concerning, though. Go a bit further up here to the north. Tullahoma is again the area that we did have a tornado warning not too long ago, and there's still some broad rotation there, so more of gusty winds right now more than anything. Thank you, Unstable, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. How's it going, Rainbow? Welcome back. All right, let me see. I've missed a bunch of comments here. How's it going, Virginia? Welcome back. That has been a busy day. I am already exhausted, and it's like 7 o'clock. Thanks, Bill, for the report. Snowing in Green Bay. Yeah, there's been a lot of snow up there in the Midwest today. Thanks, Zero. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope everything's well in Florida. I don't think I missed anything else here. Thank you, by the way, for Dale and Matthew for subscribing. I appreciate it. Hearing the whistle of rotation in Manchester, Tennessee. It's an interesting way to put it. I don't know where Manchester, Tennessee is, but it's probably just wind. I would not say it's rotation. We don't really have much rotation here in the state of Tennessee. We'll go a little bit further up here to the north real quick. Another special weather statement near Spring City. This radar is going absolutely wild up here. But yeah, just a little, I would say, strong line. It's a very small line. It's more of a cluster here of storms closer to areas near Crossville. So there are definitely a few storms out there. But again, not really much of any tornadic activity this evening, which has been very good news. I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot. Nothing's really materialized. I said this in a video one time, and I can't say that word. But nothing's really shaped up to be any sort of tornadic threat for the last few hours. The last tornado warning I think we saw that was a legitimate tornado was about 2 hours ago or so, maybe 2.5 hours ago. So it's been a while, which is good. Haven't seen too much crazy stuff. A little bit further down to the south and west of the Alabama region, we do still have a few storms back over here, closer to Quitman Meridian and as well as Hadesburg. For whatever reason, the radar does not want to turn on down here. This radar site might be out. We'll try a bit. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we still have a little bit of storm activity near Columbia. Actually, we do have some stronger thunderstorm activity. Wind gusts maybe upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour could be embedded in these storms near Bassfield and Columbia. So that's what we're seeing there. And a little area, you can actually see, it's kind of interesting when we look at a little line of storms like this. It is a very weak line of storms, but we can sometimes see these like little indents here, and sometimes that can indicate some rotation, but we don't really have any of this green popping up, which usually when we have a little bit more of that green, the wind's going towards the radar, which we're not really seeing with this little system here. Sometimes we can get some brief spin-ups and brief tornadoes, but even look at the look at the showers and storms here. There really isn't much here. I mean, it's really just downpour. So really good news though overall. We have not seen what could have been happening today, and luckily we did not see many discrete supercells, which is a big thing that obviously unfolded today. We didn't have a whole lot of those. We really had a lot of clusters of storms. The HRR model was absolutely screaming for discrete supercells today. If you've been looking at Twitter or even just looking at computer models, I mean, we've seen the HRR model was indicating we have a line of storms back here earlier today, and then we would have these like discrete cells out in front of it. That would have caused a full-blown tornado outbreak. Luckily, that did not happen, but that was a possibility for today, and we definitely got away with a pretty big event today. So it's basically what's unfolded here across the southeast today, which has been pretty wild. We're back on a 6-hour loop apparently, so this is a 6-hour loop here across the United States. I'll have this on here for a second. Yeah, there will be another big event next week. I was actually planning on mentioning that. This is next week for those that are wondering. Let me bring this up. Things obviously could change here, but I'll go ahead and show you guys because why not? This will be my next forecast whenever this comes out. I don't know, but it is way too early to forecast this event accurately. It's just something to mention right now because there are a lot of variables that go into these events. So let me go and pull on to this screen here. Pretty big event coming next week. This will be for next week. We'll have a potential, this weekend, let's begin with that. High pressure will be dominating most of the United States. Strong high pressure in the southern plains. That will keep things very dry for the most part. You can see that high pressure system will move to the east over the weekend, really keeping most of the country dry, maybe a little bit of snow over in the Rocky Mountains. But by next week, we'll be watching a low pressure system develop, and that could very well spur a full-blown winter storm going into late next week. Now, we are about 7 to 8 days out from this, so there is a lot of things that'll change with this, but you can see the European model has been going absolutely wild on this. I mean, I've not seen anything this elongated in terms of snow really ever, so that's why I'm saying we're really far out from this event. You know, if you're probably going to see a lot of YouTube videos talking about this event over the next few days, but again, there's a lot of uncertainty with what's going to happen here, but we very well could see a full-blown winter storm and ice storm going into later next week, and then by the weekend it'll move out most likely, but it'll be definitely something to watch for. I do think a lot of things will change though between now and then. I don't think this is anything that will be you know, set in stone here for until at least early next week. There's a lot of things that can change between now and then, but there's no other big weather events coming for the next 4 to 5 days. So you pretty much, for almost anybody in the United States, after tomorrow, you'll have pretty much a very beautiful Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'll probably only have one video over the next 4 days because we don't really have much to talk about. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice weekend overall. Unless you want me to make a 1-minute forecast and say, beautiful weather this weekend. Back to Jack with sports. But yeah. That's basically what we're going to be seeing here over the next few days. It's going to be a pretty nice weekend, though. Obviously, get outdoors. At least most of the United States. But thank you, Jen, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. Appreciate it. Thank you. We have 3 new members tonight so far. Appreciate you guys. Yes, Brady. What's the likelihood of more tornado warnings? There's a chance. I would probably give, if I was going to put a percentage, we have about a 50% chance of at least one more tornado warning this evening. 50%. At least one more. But I don't know. You never know. I mean, this event has been much more widespread in terms of shower and storm activity. The big concern was the discrete cells that could develop out in front of the initial line of showers and storms. And it has been an absolute mess. Even out in front of that initial line of showers and storms, it is very disorganized. And overall, it's just a lot of rain right now. Rain cool air is being dumped all over the place here in Alabama and Mississippi, which is causing a big issue for any of these storms to really rotate near the surface. And yeah, back down here, let's go back over to the live radar real quick. I'm not sure if anything's really evolved here in the last few minutes, but I would expect that a lot of these storms will struggle to really rotate this evening. Back just to the west of Clanton, this is the base, or we'll go to the storm relative velocities. So this is the current look at those velocities. Very weak rotation. That's about it. Really weak rotation here, 219. Back northwest of Tuscaloosa, we had a couple of little storms that are rotating very broadly. Those are no longer rotating, so pretty good news there. But overall, the rotation has remained very minimal here over the last 20 to 30 minutes. The last tornado warning that we had was the one back up in southern Tennessee, and that is no longer ongoing. So we have some good news there. That was a brief little storm that may have produced a brief tornado, but that was about it. So yeah, again, this is the widespread view. Tornado watches expire at 8 o'clock tonight, by the way. And we have that winter storm as well, ongoing back up in the Midwest this evening, which has been a very impressive winter storm, dumping upwards of 4 to 8 inches of snow. A few areas seeing around 10 inches in Johnson County, Iowa. So it has been active. It's downright chilly in Texas. Yeah, I mean, if we go over to the temperatures, another interesting little contrast here. Here are the temperatures. These are stationary, or actually, no, they will move. So here's your temperatures, and if we go over to here, this is your cold frontal boundary. It is a little bit further off to the west. It's kind of hard to draw when it's in motion, but your cold frontal boundary is basically right here. It's still further east than that. Let me, let's see if I can actually put this on. I don't know if these move at all. I've never actually done this before. It doesn't look like they do. Yeah, so the frontal boundaries don't move, but the cold front's basically set up right now around Jackson, Mississippi, all the way back here through about east of Illinois. That's where it is right now. But all this cold air is ushering in behind this, and dry air as well. It is very dry in the southern plains now in comparison to yesterday. Dew points quickly in North Texas went from the 30s yesterday morning to the 60s yesterday evening. This morning, they're back down into the 20s and 30s. So the moisture has been all over the place there in DFW over the past 24 hours. Yeah, again, that's your winter storm there. Very cold air back up in the northern plains as well. But yeah, it's a pretty impressive system. We can also put on the dew points here. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is the dew points here. So the moisture really only goes up here to about just south of Cleveland. That's basically where that kind of edges off here. And then you have a lot more moisture down here, which is where that original, obviously, tornado outbreak was set to take place today, was kind of in the Alabama and Mississippi area. Not everything transpired there. We had a couple of tornadoes, but definitely was nowhere near what was forecasted. So basically what's evolved here over the last 24 to 48 hours. All right, let's see what else I can do here. Also, this is the water vapor. Actually, I want to show you guys this. The water vapor is pretty remarkable with this system. Pretty sure I can put this on. Let's do that. Yeah, this is the water vapor. So we'll do another. Yeah, there we go. So this is the 6-hour loop. Let's take this off. So the water vapor is pretty incredible. All this darker green is very high relative humidity, along with just a lot of water vapor across anywhere from about Louisiana through even into areas like Michigan. Now, a pretty defined dry slot is actually right here, and that is where we're not really seeing a whole lot of snow right now near Chicago. So there's a little dry slot, and then we'll see a little bit more snowfall in the back end of that winter storm back up in the Midwest here over the next little while. So yeah, pretty impressive looking system here. All right, let's go back to here. We'll take off the 6-hour loop here. We'll just zoom back in. Actually, just a little update here. The tornado watches have now been either, I believe they're canceled, unless they expired at 7. They might have expired at 7. No, yeah, they actually are good. So we only have one tornado watch left, and that will be remaining for those in Alabama and southeast sections there of Mississippi for the next 58 minutes. So obviously tornado threat is winding down, and if you're outside of this tornado watch, it does not mean your tornado threat is completely done with. There is still a chance for at least an isolated tornado or two over the next few hours, so I'll be monitoring any of that potential here. Let me double check here. I believe we have a new Storm Prediction Center outlook, and yes, we do. So this is the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook, just came out, and this is kind of the latest here for the rest of this evening. Let me take off the radar. So this is for the rest of this evening. We still have a very large marginal threat of severe weather, or at least very long threat from New York all the way back through Louisiana here for the next few hours. We still do have a slight risk for severe weather across areas in Alabama, southeast Mississippi, and even southern sections of Tennessee. So that'll be for the rest of this evening. This will not change unless there is some sort of amendment there, but I doubt there will be. 5% tornadic probability still, so within a 25-mile radius, you still have a 5% chance of a tornado. That is a low chance overall, so good news there. And then this is the damaging wind threat for the rest of this evening. So 15% probability there. And I don't think there's really any hail threat. It's probably 5%. And yeah, there's a 5% hail probability. That's your brown shaded area here. So Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Meridian, and New Orleans still have a possibility for maybe an isolated hailstorm, but that'd be about it. Yeah, definitely a lowering threat overall. And again, for those that are just tuning in, latest Storm Prediction Center outlook no longer has an enhanced risk of severe weather, which is good news there. But we are still watching for the potential for an isolated tornado or two, and obviously a couple of storms with damaging winds. In addition to that, there's a winter storm ongoing, so we still have a lot of things to talk about here, but that is what we're going to be looking at for the rest of this evening. And let me go back over to here. We'll put this live radar on closer to Birmingham, and this is the storm activity in Alabama right now. A couple of areas to maybe be watching over the next 30 minutes. One west of Birmingham, the other one near Clanton. These two areas do have some broad rotation on a couple of cells, so we'll watch those and see if they do evolve at all over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Thanks, Rainbow. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a great night. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Appreciate you tuning in. I don't see any new tornado warning. I just said new tornado warning. I do not see one at all. Yeah, northern lights are gonna be visible tonight. Yeah, back up in, I don't know if the Dakotas might be able to see them, but yeah, the northern lights will be visible tonight. I did see a post about that on Twitter. Yeah, I don't see a tornado warning either. Please do not post false information. Thank you. Any update on the flash flood warnings? We don't really have that many. The only couple that we have right now, one back north of Macomb. This one will be expiring soon. A lot of the rainfall as well back over this direction are starting to wind down. It's pretty much just light to moderate rain. Obviously, for those in these areas, make sure you turn around, don't drown. They are definitely dangerous areas to be driving in. We have another not tornado warning, another flash flood warning back up near Russellville, and this one goes for another couple of hours. There will be still some ongoing rain here near Phil Campbell and Mount Hope. This is near a little mountainous area here, so there will still be a little bit of flooding here over the next hour or two due to the fact we will still see some moderate to heavy rain from some of these showers and storms that are still back out to the west, so a couple areas to watch there. But overall, flash flooding threat is primarily going to be over areas in eastern Kentucky and West Virginia for the next few hours, since there's just so much rain falling there. There will be a chance for some flash flooding in Mississippi and Alabama as well. Slightly lower chance than further up to the north, but it is still to be noted for the rest of this evening. I'll then go back over to the storm relative velocity. So the storm back over northwest of Tuscaloosa, not really any rotation here. There's still a little bit of broad rotation. Bit further down to the south of Birmingham, just to the west of Clanton, we still have a little strong storm here. Not really severe at all right now, but it could again develop as that moves off to the east. It is not really in a prime environment with how much rain is out in front of it, but we'll see what happens there. But that's really what we got going down here in Alabama right now. Should be a pretty, peaceful evening, to be honest. I wouldn't expect, or not peace, I wouldn't say peaceful, because there will still be thunder and lightning, but it should be overall a winding down sort of event over the next hour. And we probably will not see many more tornado warnings, if any. I mean, we might have one or two more, but that'd be probably about it. Which is good news. We're going to be winding down here for the next little while. What happened to Jaws? I don't know. He's probably just busy. I've only been live 6 times, I think, in the last 30 days. I've not been live that much, so... I mean, I don't expect him to be here when I'm not live. I'm usually... the main reason why, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to go live for this month. I could have gone live for the ice storm, but that was kind of one of those events that was going to be kind of hard to go live for to begin with. Haven't got a drop of rain. I haven't had rain. I haven't seen rain in a good 2 or 3 weeks now. It's been a while. See you later, Jelly. Appreciate you tuning in. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. We'll be again live here for a little while. I'll be probably live for the next at least 15 to 20 minutes, and if nothing really happens, then we'll probably end the stream, but we still have a few things to still talk about. Again, we have that big winter storm ongoing. Actually, some snow is now rolling through Chicago over the next 15 to 20 minutes. We do have a little bit of snow there. Light snow for now that will probably transition into maybe some more moderate to heavy snow within the next 15 to 20, or not 15, 20 minutes, but probably within the next hour or two. Milwaukee actually has seen upwards of 8 inches of snow tonight. There's actually been a lot of snow there. Milwaukee could get upwards of a foot of snow after this heavy snow band moves through. So Milwaukee could actually see some pretty hefty snowfall up that direction, but overall, it will definitely be a winding down event there within the next 3 to 4 hours. 3 inches of snow almost there near the Grand Rapids area. It is probably closer to 3 inches now. Freezing rain could equivalent to some ice in areas in southern Michigan. And yeah, that's basically what's going on with the winter storm. And again, tornado watch goes until 8 o'clock. Cold weather food during the ice storm coverage. You know, I should have done an ice storm stream, but I was already so busy doing Facebook stuff, and you know, Facebook I was really prioritizing on the ice storm coverage since it covered North Texas, but yeah, I never really went live. I have free snow if anybody wants it in Michigan. I might have to take up on that offer. I haven't seen snow in about 3-ish years now. Any more rain or snow in Dayton, Ohio? There might be, let's kind of zoom out again. There might be a little bit more rain. Maybe an isolated shower, but I don't believe, no, you will not see snow tonight. It'll just be rain for you, just a couple of passing showers. That's about it. And again, this is the widespread view here. I'll leave it on the loop here for now. But yeah, you will not see any snow out of this event. The winter storm will be going well to your north. Well, not well to your north, but it will be a little bit further to your north at this point. There will be a chance for some snow, though, I believe in northern section, or far northern Ohio, maybe briefly tomorrow morning. Actually, there's a low chance for maybe some flurries going around lunchtime tomorrow in Dayton, Ohio. It's a low chance, but there's maybe a few flurries out there tomorrow early afternoon. There will be a little bit of light snow near Toledo, which is right here. So right along the Michigan and Ohio border, there's definitely a chance for maybe some brief snowfall, but accumulation not expected at this time. Actually, real quick, I do want to look at this. So if we pause this here, this is from earlier, so obviously this is your timestamp here. But we did have a couple of confirmed tornadoes. One at 11:16. There was a mobile home flipped and 2 other homes damaged, likely from a tornado in Lincoln County. And if we go a little bit further off here, there was another tornado at 1:27. That was a radar confirmed by radar. And there's actually a confirmed tornado up here at that point near Corinth. Go a little bit further down into motion here. I'm not sure if we'll see any other damage reports here. What these two are. Trees and power lines down, possible tornado, and then damage to a few businesses there in northern Mississippi. So yeah, there are a few tornado reports here. I'm not sure if we'll see any others here. But yeah, there was actually one more southeast of Tupelo. This was another confirmed tornado just before 4 o'clock near Smithville. Radar debris signature on radar. So I did see photos of that tornado. I saw a few people post that one on Discord. So there was a tornado there briefly. But yeah, that's basically what we've seen today. There haven't been that many tornadoes. It's been definitely a much lower amount of tornadoes today than what was forecasted. But that's what we've seen. A few tornadoes from earlier today. And now it's just a tornado watch until 8 o'clock. That's another 50 minutes or so. Low chance for an isolated tornado for the rest of this evening. That's primarily for those in Alabama, maybe northwest Georgia. Wouldn't rule out some sort of spin up in southeast Mississippi either, as storms do continue to try to develop here over the next hour or two. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit the like button down below and also subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live. I do a lot of these severe weather live streams. No problem, Clinton. Appreciate you tuning in. I spoke too soon. Now I'm getting more than a drop of rain. Nice little downpour. Let me do this real quick. I can turn this off, I think, but I might not be able to. Maybe not. All right. Is there going to be any storms in Texas? No, Texas is done with this event. Texas will be dealing with dry air all weekend. And actually, the latest 7-day forecast, I think I have pulled up on here. This is the North Texas 7-day forecast. And it will be loading in here for a second. But yeah, this is the latest forecast. There's really no rain in the forecast, even for North Texas over the next few days. Possibility for some storms mid next week. That'd be about it. Look at this temperature swing. 48 degrees. Today, 47 tomorrow for a high. It goes to the low 80s by Tuesday. That is a wild temperature swing. But yeah, honestly, North Texas, not going to really see a whole lot of events over the next probably 14 days or so. I mean, we will not see anything too big, I would say. And really, it's going to be I would say, a bit more of a lull in the pattern for the rest of February. We do not have any we don't really have any major events coming up. The only one that is worth mentioning right now, at least sometime in the near future, will be this one, which will be going into actually potentially late next week. It is far out from now, so it is obviously things will change here, but it is pretty wild what the European model's been showing on the computer models. Look at this massive winter storm over the Midwest. And again, we probably will not see anything like this, but there is a chance, obviously, for the potential for some sort of winter storm late next week. This is the wind gusts along with that, by the way, which is indicating wind gusts upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. That would be absolutely insane, to say the least, if this were to happen. This is the GFS model, for those that are wondering. This is the most recent model run on that same exact system, and it does still show similar things. It's nowhere in comparison though to what the European model is showing. It does show a little bit less of what that was showing. So again, things will change over the next several days. Let's look actually at the temperature anomalies real quick. This will be the temperatures going into next week. So above average temperatures for the majority of the United States by late next week, when that cold blast could arrive, maybe even a bit of an Arctic blast. That'll bring some really cold air to some parts of the United States, especially back up into the Northeast. That's where we'll probably see the coldest weather out of that. But yeah, interesting to look at there. But no major snowstorms or anything like that otherwise for the next several days. We should have a pretty calm next not 14 days, but at least the next 7 days or so should be fairly calm in the United States. The only exception would be that low pressure system late next week, but overall there's not a whole lot of rain forecasted after this event moves out. This has been a very large scale event, and big winter storm again that stretched from Colorado to Michigan, and now we're watching still the low chance of severe weather for the rest of this evening, which is beginning to wind down. Tornado watch does expire at 8 o'clock tonight, so that is the latest there. I just realized this is not properly set there. There we go. Still not properly set. Thank you, Barry, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Not looking forward to the summer heat. Actually, the Weather Prediction Center just issued, or the Climate Prediction Center just issued a summer outlook. Let me see if I can find that. They just issued a outlook for the summer. Let's see. Yeah, so this just came out, I'm pretty sure, today. This is for the summer. That's actually expected to be, I mean, this isn't too surprising to be honest, but above average for those in the southern plains, above average for those in New England, equal chances back up in the northern plains. So yeah, at this point, the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting an above average overall summer, which is, again, not surprising by any means, but that is what we're probably going to be looking at going into June, July, and August. So that is the latest from the Climate Prediction Center there. Let's see if we have anything else on here. We have a spring outlook too. This is the spring outlook. I mean, this has been out, pretty sure, for a little while now. This is actually a more recent iteration of it. Just came out today. This is the spring outlook, so March, April, May. Above average for the southern plains, below average possibly back up into the northern tier of the United States. So maybe the northwest. That'd be about it. So Alaska too included in that. Southeast Alaska, which I don't cover, but Southeast Alaska, below average, most likely going to happen there. Thanks, Starvey. Appreciate it. Do you think the rain? I have no clue, Bugsy. I have zero clue. I've had people ask me about that. I legitimately could not tell you. I don't have any knowledge of that event whatsoever. I have no. I couldn't even tell you. I have no opinion on that. I have no knowledge. How's it going, Josephine? How you doing? Yeah, they actually do have long-term predictions on rain as well. So this is the current forecast for the spring. Above average rainfall likely back up into the Ohio Valley and Midwest, and as well as parts of the Northeast. Below average is currently more likely than not in the Four Corners states and as well as Florida. So that's the latest there. Also Alaska, kind of in that split thing as well. Again, above average precipitation on the western side of the state. They, for whatever reason, does anybody find this weird? They include all of these states, but they don't include Hawaii. I just realized that. I don't know if they have another separate forecast for Hawaii, but Hawaii is not even on this map. That's actually kind of wild. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but that's actually funny. This is the summer outlook again for the precipitation, by the way. So those that are wondering. Is above average is expected on the eastern half of the United States, below average for the northwestern side of the state. Yeah, again, I'm kind of surprised. Hawaii is not listed on here. I don't know why, but it goes. How's it going, Josh, by the way? Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks, Darby. Appreciate it. Charlotte, North Carolina will not see anything severe today. What are the purple boxes behind the snowstorm? These are going to be precipitation reports in terms of freezing rain. Actually, this one is a glitched out snow report. Typically this indicates some sort of ice though. Yeah, you can see here. So 3:45 this afternoon near West Point, there was a 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation on a stick. I've never seen that sort of report before. A photo of near a 1/4 inch of ice accumulation on a stick. Oh, they're probably talking about a tree. Road condition remains very good. That's good. I thought they were just talking about a random, like, I don't know, man-made stick or something. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. Let's real quickly check on Birmingham. This is the severe weather that is not really ongoing. We have a few strong storms west of Birmingham. Just curious to see if anything's evolved here over the last little while. We haven't really seen much. This is the little cluster of really just kind of moderate storms. They're not really strong, not really weak. They're kind of in between. But they're moving towards Birmingham. No rotation really on any of these cells right now. If anything, it's just broad rotation. And we do have a few showers and weaker storms. Actually, one near Jackson. Curious to see here if we have anything too crazy. There's a little bit of rotation on this cell west of Jackson, Alabama. So, a little bit. Not much, though. There's no other closer radar site. There's a little bit of weak rotation, I'd say, right now on this little cell that is going towards Jackson, Alabama. So we'll see if anything evolves there. Thanks, Bugsy. Appreciate it. Darby, it should this weekend, I'm pretty sure. Phoenix, I have been in classes all day today. Thursday is my busy day. I mentioned this before, but for those that are wondering, those that are normal or regulars here, I will hardly ever be live on Thursdays unless it's an event after like 8 o'clock. I am always very busy on Thursdays, at least through early May because of classes. I have a stacked day of classes. I have like 4 classes every time on Thursdays. So Tuesdays are my least busy days. So if there's anything on Tuesday, I'm typically live for that. How's it going, Megan? Welcome on in. How's it going, Wyatt? Back. I just spent 4 hours doing homework. Oh, you guys want to hear a story? I literally spent, it's kind of wild. I literally spent a whopping on this past Monday and Sunday. I spend all day Sunday and Monday studying for one single exam. Literally, I spent a total of like 20 hours studying. It was absolutely wild. Spent so much time studying for that exam that was on Tuesday. So yeah, it was a very busy weekend. But the other thing is I went to Disney on Saturday, so I just stacked up on stuff on Sunday, Monday, which was a nice break. I honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, I've hardly had any breaks since early January. It's been a very busy last 45 days, so I'm glad I went on that little trip. By the way, new flash flood warning has just been issued for those north of Birmingham. There's a ton of rain that has fallen here. Currently for Coleman, as well as areas north of Albertville. That does include Guntersville, Holly Pond, Hanceville, and the Colony. This is for a flash flood warning until 10:15 tonight. So that is another 3-ish hours. We can actually pull up the rainfall here. Let me pull that up. We'll do the last 6 hours, I think, on rainfall. Might take a second to load, but we'll take a glance here. There's probably been a lot of rain here. All right, we'll load in the last 12 hours. But yeah, this is an area that has seen a ton of rain today. All right, this is the most recent update here. So near Coleman, this is how much rain has fallen. So about 1 to 2 inches so far. So there's been a lot of rain. More of that is to continue, by the way. So about 1 to 1.5 inches there. A little bit further down to the south and west, we've actually seen almost 3 inches of rain closer to Barry, Millport, as well as near Reform. So there's been a ton of rain in this area as well. Got plenty of these totals up this direction. Closer to Birmingham, not much there so far, only about 1/2 inch. Well, that's actually a decent amount, but nothing in comparison to some of these other areas. Further down to the south in Alabama, we're talking right around 2 to 3 inches just to the west of Marion. Meridian has seen right around 2 inches, maybe 3 inches in a couple of little pockets there. I saw 3-inch right in here somewhere, just south of Meridian. And then back down into Louisiana, we've seen a ton of rain. 5 inches of rain has fallen north of Baton Rouge. So there's been a ton of rainfall out of the system. But yeah, the most recent flash flood warning is back up here in northern Alabama. Let's go back over to the live radar. Tornado watch has been condensed further. It still goes for another half an hour. No longer includes Hadesburg, or Hattiesburg. I think it's Hattiesburg. I can't remember. That is no longer included in this tornado watch. Still looking at a little bit of broad rotation west of Jackson, Alabama, but again, not really too impressive right now. How's it going, CH? Physics, Virginia. Physics. I think I got a 88 on that exam, so it wasn't horrible. I won't tell you what the exact grades were, but I will tell you that the only 2 tests I've ever failed in college were 2 final exams. And they were recent. They were back in December, but I will not tell you the grades I got on them. That was what really stunk was those 2 final exams that I had were like the day after, or the day of and the day after a big severe weather event in Texas and whatnot that I was, doing a lot of forecasts on and stuff. So I will not tell you the grades that I got on those, but those were absolutely horrendous. And when I say horrendous, I mean horrendous. Like, I have never failed exams more than that. Pretty bad. Hattiesburg, thank you, patience. Your brain would explode. Yeah, mine got close to it. Mine got close to it. I mean, I had the choice, though. I had the choice to either get a really good grade on both of those exams, which wouldn't really impact my GPA a whole lot, or not really care too much for them and cover the severe weather events that were going on in Texas at the time and Oklahoma. And I was like, all right, second option. Second option it is. Let's go over to Clanton real quick. We have a couple of storms over here. None of these tornado warned, but we do have some higher winds, potentially upwards of 50 to 60 mile per hour, or not 60 miles per hour, but probably between 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts near Maplesville and Clanton. Again, very weak rotation with any of this activity right now. The low-level winds have been very weak here for the last few hours with these storms that have been ongoing, especially north and northwest of Montgomery, Alabama. This is the other cell that we've been watching a little bit northwest of Jackson, Alabama. This one hasn't been very impressive to this point. It has been on the weaker side of things. It is still very weak rotation, if any. It is more of just a storm right now, but we will definitely see if anything unfolds there. We'll go back up here for now near Birmingham. And west of Jasper is where we have a little cluster of weaker storms right now. They are weakening out there, which is, again, good news so far. How's it going, Maria? Can't tell if it's jumping around or thunder. I'd bring those cats back out, or back inside, especially with thunder and lightning in your area. Really want to go to college, but I still don't know what I'm willing to drive myself insane over. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. It really just depends. Everybody's different. The position for everybody is very vastly different. The reason why I am still in college is because I want to be an actual meteorologist. I don't really, want to be doing weather stuff on YouTube and stuff without some sort of meteorology degree. I think it's really important to have something like that, some sort of credentials that actually proves that you know what you're talking about. Because there's a lot of people, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people on, YouTube that do not have a degree by any means. They know stuff for sure. And honestly, a lot of the people that talk here on YouTube about weather and stuff, they know what they're talking about for the most part. But I still think that learning more for me is going to benefit me in the long run. I would rather know more about weather, than, not really know, anything. I mean, I feel like I know a lot, but honestly, I know that I don't know a lot, if you know what I mean. Like, I know there's so much more to learn about meteorology that I've not yet learned. That'll be very exciting here over the next couple of years. I am pretty excited to learn more about meteorology and stuff like that. This semester, I'm not really learning anything about it, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, I think that you really need I really do need it. I want to know more. Which I've learned about a lot of meteorology stuff from some of the awesome mentors that I've had. I mean, I've literally talked to I talked to a lot of meteorologists like Harvey Leonard, who's now semi-retired at WCB in Boston. Kyle Roberts at WFA in North Texas too. A few of you guys might know who that is. He is also somebody that's mentored me a little bit. I did actually shadow him one time. So yeah, I've had some good experiences and whatnot. Yeah, see, I'm in Calc 3 right now. Calculus 3. It is It has been a very exciting time. Let's just say that. No, not really. Actually, I just had an exam on that last week, which I did pretty good on. So the math has not honestly been that difficult. I'd say the most difficult part of the meteorology degree so far has actually probably been physics. And it's just because the teachers that I am taught by for physics are not good. They are not good at all. So makes it pretty difficult. Things should be winding down in Louisiana over the next few hours, Robert. For Florida, Florida will not see severe weather out of the system. If anything, you'll just see a couple of passing showers tomorrow afternoon or evening. It will not make its way all the way through Florida, though. It would just be a few passing showers. It will not be anything that wild. I'll tell you that. By the way, for those that are just tuning in, here's your loop of the low pressure system that, again, is centered back up here in the Midwest right now. This is your cold frontal boundary that extends all the way back down through the southern half of the United States, closer to the Dixie Valley. We still have some moisture rising out of the Gulf of Mexico. We have some storm activity, obviously. Most of the storms are moving either east or northeast. We have some northeasterly directioned cells closer to southern Mississippi and Alabama, more easterly direction back further up here to the north. And then you have all the snow back over in the Midwest right now. Milwaukee, by the way, has been upwards of almost 10 inches of snow out of this event so far. Is anybody from Milwaukee? I know we have a few viewers from Milwaukee, but I'm not sure how many we have. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't see this before. Look at the lake effect snow up here. Near Marquette. That is a little bit of lake effect snow. This is a 6-hour loop. It's actually kind of cool. We have a little bit of lake effect snow here as well near Grand Rapids, but yeah, it's been pretty interesting. Chicago, I think, is around 2 inches now, so there's been a little bit of snow there as well. All right, let's go back down here. We'll stay zoomed in on here on Birmingham for now. Physics is hard enough with a good teacher. Will I become meteorologist Max? I'll become meteorologist Max Velocity. No, I'm not actually going to change my last name. Somebody asked me if my last name was actually Velocity. It's like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, you know? Being born with a last name of Velocity. That'd be pretty sick. Yeah, I think one of the things with, you know, college and all that when you're trying to learn and stuff, one of the things that a lot of people overlook is trade school. I've heard a lot of people be very successful with trade school and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You don't have to go into college to be successful, and you don't even have to go to any school to be successful at all. I mean, you see all the stories on, on Google and all that. I mean, there's plenty of people that have been successful without any sort of degree of any sort. So by the way, thank you for all those that have just subscribed. We are currently 2 subscribers away from 32,200. So if you've not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Again, we do severe weather live streams all the time, so make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live. We do nationwide severe weather live streams and weather forecasts. I am not sure when we'll have our next weather forecast, to be honest with you. There might be one on Saturday or Sunday. I would not expect one tomorrow since there will not be much going on. But next week, there will be a possibility for some sort of hefty winter storm. I will be breaking that down a bit more in depth as we get closer, but that'll be late next week. So we're still a good 7 days out, but we'll be watching that system closely, especially as we get a little bit closer to that. Also, if you've not already hit the like button down below, I would appreciate it. Yes, I am aware, Patricia. I have not changed. I don't think I'm going to legally change my last name to Velocity at all. I just don't think that's happening. Fryer, no, you cannot go to trade school for meteorology. No, I was mentioning trade school as in, like, for people that don't know what to do, like, in terms of, let's just say you're like, you can be any age, but like, let's just say you don't know what you want to do with your life or like what you want to do for a job. Trade school is always something that's kind of interesting. I've had I know a few people that have been in it, and they've become very successful. So it was a good little route as well. If you don't want to do college, that is, or if you don't even want to do trade school, you can do college too. Or you don't even have to do either. I'm just saying, trade school is something that gets a little bit overlooked. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. I do not have time for a girlfriend. No, I legitimately do not have time for that. Valentine's Day was more like Singles Day. How's it going, Evan? Stage name. I mean, yeah, it could be technically a stage name, but let me check something real quick. We'll see if there's any other Twitter updates. This Tornado Watch goes for another 25 minutes. I will be live throughout the end of this Tornado Watch at the bare minimum, just in case anything does pop up here over the next 25 minutes. Flash flood warning, for those that are wondering, has just been issued about 15 minutes ago. We actually now have a report of flash flooding in Marshall County, Alabama. This is for those in the Hog Jaw Road, or Hog Jaw Road. That is going to be water covering the road, rising up to vehicle doors in some areas. That is as of 25 minutes ago. That is why there is a flash flood warning now in this area. That does include Coleman, as well as areas through Guntersville, Grant, Hanceville, Holly Pond, and Colony. This is including a population of 113,000 for this flash flood warning. So make sure that you are getting to higher ground if needed. And obviously turn around, don't drown. If you see any flooded roadways, do not drive into them. It is worth going around to a different route that is not flooded over. Even if it adds another 5 to 10 minutes to your drive. I mean, what you should do. Dr. Velocity. Now, I'm not going to become a doctor. I know that Reed Timmer has a PhD, but I will not be going that far. Trust me, I am not going that far. I legitimately would not be able to handle going that far in college. That is another 4 years. You're storm chasing. Where are you storm chasing? Are you in Alabama? Little nocturnal storm chasing in Alabama. Yeah, Fryer, I completely agree. I mean, honestly, you know, running this page and stuff like that, people are always like, you're getting some sort of college credit for this, right? I'm like, no, I'm definitely not. But, you know, one of the things is like, you know, this is good experience, and I definitely will agree with you. I mean, I've had some very tense, severe weather coverages before where there are several tornado warnings ongoing and stuff like that. I mean, I'm live. I've been live for as many as 8 hours at one time. So, I mean, I've definitely been through a lot of big events, especially last summer. I mean, honestly, for the last 3 or 4 months, there hasn't been anything that big other than the Hurricane Ian that happened and Nicole. Those were like the 2 main ones that happened. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot that I was live for the past 4 months. There's been very short-lived 1, 2, maybe 3 hour streams. So Hobbs Road flooded. Might go check it out. Yeah, let me know. Keep it posted. I think the flooding is honestly going to be like the only thing to chase at this point for the rest of this evening. I don't think there's going to be much of any tornado threat for the rest of this evening. There might be a brief one, but to be quite frank, I just don't see a whole lot of rotation. This might be a cell near Clanton. There's been a little bit of rotation with this here and there. It's not strong or anything like that, but it's been there for a little while. Wouldn't rule out if it does maybe intensify a little bit, we might get a tornado warning here, but it is a not very impressive looking cell. It is small, so if there was anything here, it would be brief and weak, but maybe something to watch here. That is near Clanton, Alabama, and Thornsby, or Thornsby. So there's a little bit there. Thanks, Simplicity. I appreciate it. Hey, Fryer, I'll try to. I can't make promises on severe weather coverage. I honestly, like today, I mean, I was lucky to even go live this evening. I've had such a busy day. Thanks, Bear. How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. Everything's been well. Thornsby, thank you. Somerset, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's mostly just turning into a bit more of a flash flooding threat right now. The only shower and storm activity left is primarily over here in eastern Kentucky. Couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. The only rumble of thunder is probably down there. That's kind of in a bit of a rural area. And Somerset, the last thing that you'll probably see is maybe a brief shower or downpour. And that'd be probably about it for the next hour or so. See anything too far beyond that, though. All right, let's go back to this little area near Clanton. We'll keep a close eye on this. Again, a little bit of broad rotation right now. This is not a tornado warning, but we are monitoring a small area of broad rotation. That'll be approaching Interstate 65 over the next few minutes, so we'll keep a close eye on this. Thank you, Jason and Barbara, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Hope somebody in Oklahoma hires me. Hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I still got 2 years, so I mean, I'm in no rush to get to a job. I might have already told you guys the story, but I was actually offered a meteorologist position at a station back in December, and it was a pretty big station. It was actually in Missouri, but I'm just not interested right now. I'm already running this and my Facebook page full-time, and I'm in college full-time. It is way too much to handle already, so kind of in that stage. But latest radar update as of 7:40. There is still very broad rotation. It's weak and broad, so it's not really impressive, but there is a little bit here, and you might be able to notice there's a little bit of a very small looking cell here. If anything, it is a very small storm. It's not very, large in terms of length and width, but it could produce maybe some sort of brief, wall cloud or funnel cloud. I wouldn't even rule out a brief tornado with this. It's not out of the question here. Has a little bit of a hook shape there, so we'll see what happens. Just a little one. By the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. It is free to do. And also, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live for severe weather coverage. Let's go a little bit further down here to the south. We'll go closer to Jackson again. We had a couple of little showers here. These are now weakening again, so rotation does seem to be also fairly weak with this little area. That is west of Grove Hill. Very weak rotation, if any, remaining there. A bit further up here to the north near Birmingham and Jasper. Let's go to the reflectivity again. We'll see if there's anything up this direction. Pretty sure there's not a whole lot left here. The radar has bugged out. There we go. Yeah, so there is a couple of little showers here. We got maybe a little rumble of thunder or two coming out of the little cell south of Oakman. This will be approaching Birmingham within the next half an hour to 45 minutes. It is probably moving about 30 to 35 miles per hour off to the east-northeast, so you might see something there here pretty soon if you're over that direction. This is the cell back near Clanton. The latest radar scan has weakened this cell a little bit. This is the velocities on that little cell. It is not very impressive, but again, if it could become organized, I wouldn't rule out some sort of brief tornado out of it, but for right now, it is definitely not really in the best state of mind. It is, again, fairly weak for right now, near 31, approaching Interstate 65. This is the latest radar scan as of 7:41, so very broad area of rotation. It'll be crossing over Interstate 65 and moving into a very rural area, so if there were to be a tornado, probably would not be much of a concern. Yes, Unstable. That was a very memorable stream. That was the first stream that Jaws ever came to, I'm pretty sure. That was the GeoGuessr stream. That was wild. Thank you, Connie, for subscribing. I appreciate it. How you doing, Karen? It has been a crazy season. It has been. The winter storms have been pretty wild. That's been pretty cold. Yeah, I mean, if you look, let's go back to the widespread view here. We'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. Actually, we'll put on just the temperatures here. These are the temperatures right now across this region. And this is where your cold front is. And it's pretty well defined, actually. If we go and put it on, we'll do it on this color here. This is your cold front. That's up here. That's your warm front. Here's your cold front extending all the way down through the Dixie Valley right now. That is essentially where it is right now. We're seeing some showers and storms right now, again, in Alabama and southeast Mississippi. But that's pretty much where it is right now. And if you're anywhere behind this, you are done with severe weather for sure. I would honestly go ahead and say that most of these areas here as well are done with severe weather back behind that black line. But other than that, I mean, the only severe weather, if there's any remaining tonight, it will likely be in Alabama or western or northwestern Georgia. Those would be the couple of areas where we may see a couple of isolated severe storms, but the threat has definitely gone down this evening. And again, the temperatures have been very cold, even back up in the northern plains. Temperatures down below zero up that direction. Chicago's also down right around 30 degrees. There's been a little bit of snow there this evening, and that will continue here over the next little while. So yeah, the temperatures are definitely dropping, and anything behind this cold front will just be colder and drier air. Another good way to look at this cold front as well in the dry line is the dew points. We can actually put that up on here. This is the dry line or dew points if you want. It's basically the cold front here, but this is what we're looking at here is really the sharp divide between moisture and as well as drier air. This is all the drier and cooler air ushering in. We got a ton of Gulf of Mexico moisture that is surging up as far north and east as areas in Ohio and even into New York this evening. It is a very large area. If we zoom out a little bit more, that moisture has retreated as far north as areas like southwestern New York. It is a very large area with this low pressure system, so it's been pretty impressive. Let me turn off this little layer here. So yeah, again, this is the 6-hour loop here of all the showers and storms here today. And winter storm again back up in the Midwest. That'll move into the far northern sections of New England overnight tonight, and then the remaining showers and storms with mostly very limited severe weather remaining in the Dixie Valley all the way back through areas in West Virginia. So we're looking at right now. There's a little bit of ice actually. Yeah, there's been some freezing rain in southern and even central sections of Michigan. That is going to cause some troubling commute if the roads are not treated back up in Michigan. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. How's it going, Emma? Welcome. Haven't seen a drop of snow. I haven't seen a singular snowflake in a very long time. Been about 3 years. How much snow are you up to, Patricia? I know Milwaukee. Let's real quickly check this since we have a second here. Milwaukee right now is up to 7.5 inches of snow in one area. I've seen reports upwards of 10 inches here. Highest report as of an hour ago, southwest of Milwaukee, is 9 inches of snow. Madison is around 5 inches. We have about 7 inches back near Janesville. So yeah, there's been a ton of snow up here. I mean, we're definitely talking upwards of 6 to 10 inches. There's been a couple of areas near 12 inches of snow, but it has been a very isolated area at this point. There's been some decent snowfall though up that direction for sure. Let's go back down to here. We'll go to any of this storm activity. I'm going to put back on the velocities. We'll see if there's anything out there, but I'm pretty sure, again, most of this activity is winding down. We'll at least be live until this tornado watch expires, which is another about 13 minutes from now. If there's any tornado warnings by then, we'll still be live. But this is the one little tiny area of rotation I was mentioning. It is weakening. That was near 65, moving off to the east-northeast. So a little weakening area right now there. Thanks, Jojo. I appreciate it. A lot of people tell me that. By the way, is anybody watching the XFL this weekend? I'm pretty excited. Or has anybody even heard of the XFL? Or is it just me? It might just be me. 6 to 8 in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska. It must have been this morning, right? When you saw some snow? Or it was at least winding down this morning. It was more of last night, I'm pretty sure, when I was beginning, and that went into the overnight hours. Shoveling, not me. No shoveling. Shoveling is the worst part of any winter storm. I'll just be brutally honest with you. Is the worst part. It's pretty impressive with this setup, by the way. There are a couple of little cells here. They are very small. They are not that high in terms of cloud tops, but you can see these little, very small, weak areas of rotation. It's impressive. You know, we have one there. We have another very tiny one that's weak back north of Clanton, Alabama. And this is originally what was supposed to happen, was that we're supposed to have some more supercells develop kind of in this area this evening. We just haven't seen that. These are very tiny little showers and maybe really weak cells. It's about it. And it's quite incredible that these are still rotating, even though they are puny. This is the cell that has a little bit of rotation near 65. Again, I would not rule out a small little funnel cloud or a spin up with this cell near 65, even though it is a very tiny cell. It's, again, we kind of have that setup where there might be like some sort of little brief spin up with this sort of thing. It's pretty wild, but the rotation, again, you can see it's extremely weak, to say the least. So, and it's really all along this one area here. We have a couple of these little couplets here, one just south of 82, and then another one there near Clanton. So it is interesting. It is an interesting little setup this evening, but obviously nothing in comparison to before. Josh, the 2020 version was awesome. I loved it. Yeah, I completely agree. I hope the XFL does well this time with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson owning it. It really, it stunk that it had to shut down 5 weeks through last season because it was so fun to watch. But I'm hoping that it pulls through this time. I'm hoping. But I might be going to the Orlando Guardians game. We'll see. Week 2. It was so fun to watch in 2020, though. I just got over a sickness the other day. I don't even know what it was. It was just like a cold or something. I've had the same illness like at least 10 times in the past 2 years. I have no clue what it was. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I was sick with a cold. I posted a couple times on YouTube as well. I was mentioning that I was sick and I wouldn't be able to make videos for a few days, but yeah, that was just another like really random cold. By the way, this cell now is weakening. So the one that may have had a bit of broad rotation is weakening again. But yeah, this tornado watch is going to expire in 10 minutes. So good news there. We'll be pretty much done with the tornado threat for the rest of the night. It is a very low chance that we'll see anything for the rest of this evening and into the overnight hours. There might be some isolated gusty winds or a brief weak tornado, but the threat has definitely gone down substantially and is nowhere near what was forecasted. We've only seen, I'm pretty sure, 3, maybe 4 tornadoes today. So good news, really good news. We have not seen nearly as much as what was potentially going to happen here in the Alabama, Mississippi area, which was the main area, as well as southern Tennessee. Those were the 3 main states included in the tornado threat today. So we'll put on a little 6-hour loop here for those in the southern plains. Just kind of an evolution. Again, if you've not watched any live streams today, I haven't been live for much of this event. This is like the first hour I've actually been live for it, but it's really winding down, which is good news. How's it going, Katie? Welcome back. It's like something between college football and the overdone NFL. It's pretty much is. It's in between both of those levels. It's basically people trying to get to the NFL that are looking for another opportunity. The USFL happened back in the summer of last year, but I never found that entertaining. The XFL I found really fun to watch. The USFL was the most boring thing ever. Actually hilarious. Apparently somebody is nothing. Never mind. Yeah, the USFL was never fun to watch. There was no fans at those games. It was so boring. I had to take a nap, Karen. I haven't taken. I honestly, I love taking like short naps. They're amazing. Who's my favorite NFL team? The Patriots. That is the team I've been rooting for since I was young, and I still am. But they have been pretty bad the last few years, so USFL should be something that's at least exciting, so I can actually root for maybe a good team. Whoever I find the most entertaining in the XFL Week 1, I will be purchasing some merchandise from. And that's who I'm going to be rooting for the rest of the season. There will be a negatively tilted trough next week, but we are way too far out. That's 7 to 8 days out. I have mentioned it a couple of times in this live stream. Let's actually bring that up real quick. We might as well. We have nothing else to talk about here. Let's go over to here and let's do that. So next week, there is going to be a low pressure system. It will be likely evolving into something fairly strong. This is going into early next week. We will have a couple of small areas to watch. Little low pressure system in the northern plains, another one back up near Canada. This could bring a little bit of snowfall for either one of these, but they will not be overly intense. I will probably have a short video covering this little winter weather event. It probably won't be a winter storm, but going into mid to late next week, a very large low pressure system has been indicated on the European and GFS model. We are too far out from accurately forecasting this event, and this could very well change. I mean, this winter storm very well could change into something very small or even much further north or south. So there's no reason to, panic about this or even think that this is definitely going to happen, because you'll probably see YouTube videos in the next few days that are saying, oh my goodness, this big thing's coming. Things will change. I'll tell you, precipitation changes very often, and we are currently about 150 to 200 hours out. So things will change, but this is not out of the realm of possibilities, but this is definitely a very aggressive look at a possible winter storm late next week. So that'll be something to watch for. Overall, though, regardless, we are talking about a beautiful weekend. This is going into Saturday. We will probably not be talking about much of any rain or snow across the United States for Saturday or Sunday. The only exception will be back into the Rocky Mountains in Montana, but Yeah, it'll be a beautiful weekend, so make sure to get outdoors. But next week will definitely be something to watch out for. For those that are wondering how much snow would even come out of this, we are way too far to really be talking about this, but I do want to mention it anyways. This would be the 24-hour snowfall totals. So the initial, this is a bit more likely to happen. We'll have a small little trough that will bring some snow to the Midwest, upper Midwest specifically, maybe about at the most 6 inches out of that. And then the following event, this is what it would be estimating. And this is way too early to be even talking about, but I'm just mentioning, 2-3 feet would be what that model is showing. But again, we're way too early to be talking about it. It is going to change as we get closer for sure. There's no doubt about that. It probably will not happen, but if it does, it's always something to kind of just mention for now. But obviously you're going to see a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff like that probably over the next few days talking about it. Again, no reason to be panicking when you see a very clickbait thumbnail, because again, things will change. I will tell you that right now. We've seen a lot of things change. The ice storm that happened in North Texas and the Southern Plains a couple of weeks ago, a week out from that event, it was showing much further actually to the north, and it ended up happening much further to the south. So we've seen some really crazy changes with computer models 7 to 8 days out. I'll tell you that right now. Things will change, but it's something to watch. Might as well watch it because there's not much else to watch for the next 7 days. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. I'll be here for a few more minutes. Yeah, that event would make it very cold. That's for sure. And while you're at it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the like button down below. We're only 28 likes from 300. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss another severe weather live stream or weather forecast. Again, we do those very often here. We'll keep you posted with the latest across the entire United States. Yeah, you'll probably see some rain in Charlotte, North Carolina. There'll probably at least be some. This Sunday, the Daytona 500. That's exciting. Actually, it's a long weekend this weekend. Realize that. President's Day is on Monday. Let's see what the live radar looks like. How's it going, Kay? There won't be really a whole lot of severe weather left tonight. That would also include areas back over near the Atlanta area, but this is the current live radar closer to Atlanta. Most of the shower and storm activity is back out to the west. Let's put back on the live radar here. Most of the shower and storm activity is off to your west. Severe weather will remain very limited this evening. I would not expect a whole lot. Just make sure you have a way to receive alerts. There might be an isolated severe storm, but the threat is going to be low tonight. A lot of the shower and storm activity that we've seen has been very, very weak for the last few hours. We have not really seen a tornado warning ever since the beginning of this live stream. Still a little bit of very weak rotation near Billingsley, but really not much there either. It's been very weak down that direction. Nothing down there to the south. So things will be winding down the next few hours, and there probably will not be much after. I wouldn't even really expect any more severe weather, to be honest, for the rest of the night, but just in case, have a way to receive alerts. We might see one more brief tornado with one of these storms. Can't rule out maybe some isolated damaging winds. How's it going, JK? Karen, I do not. No, I do not. No one in our family gets off for President's Day. All right. Well, I thought everybody did. I guess I'm the only one, or at least I know. I thought everybody got that day off apparently, but I guess not. All I know is that I don't have to go to classes on President's Day, which is nice. Nice little long weekend, and then another busy next week with exams. Can't wait. This tornado watch will expire in approximately 45 seconds. Let's get a nice little countdown, some claps. Tornado watch will be ending, and we'll probably be talking to, I mean, again, there might be one more brief tornado tonight, but it will not be anything widespread. There will be no need for another tornado watch tonight by any means, with the activity levels that have been ongoing. I'll real quickly check the Storm Prediction Center. I don't believe they've mentioned anything here. There is a mesocyclone discussion, or mesoscale discussion, as of 5:56. That was almost 2 hours ago. basically just saying severe weather potential has diminished, isolated strong to severe storm development. Posing a risk for tornadoes remains possible, but it's pretty unlikely at this point. So that was about 2 hours ago. Other than that, though, I would not expect much else tonight. So, and the tornado watch has officially ended. We no longer have a tornado watch. Yippee. Has been a, I would probably say this has been a bit more of an inactive day than was forecasted, but that's always a good thing. Always a good thing that it was definitely a lot less worse than what it could have been. So, some good news there. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And a little bit of very weak rotation near Billingsley. I wouldn't rule out, if you guys are anywhere in these areas, if you're a storm chaser, wouldn't rule out a brief little funnel cloud or wall cloud along Interstate 65 with these approaching showers and weaker storms. But other than that, it'll be weakening out here. Yeah, there was a couple of tornadoes earlier. I think the more recent one was like 5-ish o'clock, maybe slightly before that, maybe 4 o'clock, somewhere in that range Central Time. But other than that, we have not really seen anything. So the watch doesn't end for 31 minutes in Birmingham. I think it ended. I could be wrong. On the Storm Prediction Center website, it says it expired at 8 o'clock, but I could again be wrong. It may be going an extra half an hour, but I would probably doubt that, unless they changed it. From what I know, it ended at 8. It expired. Okay, just make sure. Have a great night, Bugsy. Appreciate you tuning in. That's good to hear, Legacy. That's good to hear. Alrighty, well, that's basically it for this live stream. There wasn't really much else. We went live when there was one tornado warning earlier, and that is obviously ended. There's nothing on the map. We do have a couple of flash flood warnings out there, so just make sure to, you know, turn around, don't drown if you're in any of these areas and traveling out and about. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, click that red button below, and click the bell icon so you get notified when I go live. I would really appreciate if you subscribe if you enjoyed this stream. Also, make sure to hit the like button down below. We are currently 12 likes from 300. So if you've not already, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. If you want to support the page above and beyond, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 per month. That is very cheap, by the way. You can get exclusive access to bloopers, as well as exclusive forecasts and much more. You can click, and that's a blooper right there. You can click the top link in the description if you want to become a member and join our little community here of members here on the YouTube channel. Helps the page out a lot. Other than that, though, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night, guys, and we will see you guys all again later. I will not have a video tomorrow. I might have one Saturday or Sunday, and then we'll be watching for the next big possible winter storm mid to late next week. So stay tuned. Have a great, safe rest of your night, guys, and we'll see you guys all again later. And again, thank you guys all for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Have a safe rest of your night.